So I have finally seen Steven Spielberg's latest movie, Disclosure Day. Now, this movie came out on Friday, which was yesterday, and I went and saw it Thursday night because usually my city usually gets movies like a day before they come out. So I went and saw this Thursday night, and I didn't get home till like 9:30 that night. So that's kind of why I didn't record the review then, because I was super tired and didn't really feel like recording the review, and also had to work the next morning. And then on Friday, I was kind of feeling a little bit out of it, so that's why I didn't record the review Friday. But now that I'm basically back to normal, I figured I might as well record the review today and get it uploaded tomorrow, which will be Sunday. So yeah, after finally have seen Disclosure Day, I have to say it was pretty good. Although I wouldn't say it is like the greatest movie, but I've only seen like a handful of Steven Spielberg movies. I haven't seen like all of them, obviously, because I know he's made like a bunch of movies in the past. I've only seen a couple of them. I've seen E.T., I have seen that one. I've seen Ready Player One, and I think I might have seen Jaws. I'm not 100% sure if I have or not, but I'm pretty sure I vividly remember watching Jaws as a kid. So those are the ones that I know I've seen for sure, but I know there's like a bunch of other ones that have came out before. But Steven Spielberg hasn't really made any movies since like 2022. I'm pretty sure was the last one that he made, which I haven't seen. I haven't seen that one, but this one, it looked pretty interesting to me. So I was like, all right, I'm gonna go check this one out. And after finally seeing it, like I didn't hate the movie. It was a pretty okay movie. Like I had a good time with it, but I don't know. It's just kind of I'm kind of like 50-50 on it because this whole thing is about how people would react if aliens were real, like if they were told that aliens weren't real. You see that basically throughout the movie. There's this main character, Daniel. Well, actually, there's technically two main characters. There's Daniel and his girlfriend, and then there's Margaret and her husband. Those are like the four main characters that we follow throughout the movie. We follow Daniel's journey and we follow Margaret's journey. And because basically what ends up happening is that they have these like special abilities that they were given from the aliens. Like the aliens basically like chose them when they were kids and they took them to like this place and they gave them these abilities that lets them like translate alien language, and they can like they're immune to like this device thing that people try to like use because there's this main bad guy whose name I don't really remember all that much because it has been a couple days since I've seen this movie. Let me look it up real quick. So the main villain's name is Scanlon. I'm pretty sure that is his name because I do remember them saying something like that in the movie, but they only say his name like a couple times. Like it's not something they say all the time. So I didn't really remember the villain's name, but he is kind of the villain, although he's not like a major bad guy. Like he is like trying to track down Daniel and Margaret, but he's not really like, you know, super evil or anything like that. He's just like he just doesn't want the people of the world to know that aliens exist, which I mean, I guess is technically fair because, at the end of the movie, we find out, or they end up revealing to the world that aliens are real, and the villain, or Scanlon, I should say, is like he tracks them down to this like news station because it's the news station that Margaret works at, and he realizes it's too late, so he just sits in the chair and he's like, "Let it happen, screw it." And then you find out, or the people find out that aliens are real because the whole journey is basically them trying to go to the news station to reveal that aliens are real because Daniel thinks it is like the people's right to know the truth that aliens are real because he was chosen by this guy Hugo, and basically yeah, he was chosen to like reveal the information to the world. He's been on the run for like 8 years, and he's basically been on the run from this corporation who is like Scanlon's corporation. He's been tracking Daniel down for like 8 years, and to like prevent him from revealing the truth that aliens are real, which ends up failing. But that is the whole point of the movie. They have this like device thing where they can like communicate with other people, but like I said, Daniel and Margaret, they're like immune to this device because whenever Scanlon tries using it against them, his like heart basically like fails, and all the air gets like sucked out of his lungs. Like he cannot use the device on Daniel or Margaret because how it works is he basically like grabs the device. It's like this like little stick thing. I'm trying to see if there's like something on my desk that I can like, I guess this is remote here is kind of the best thing that I got. But basically he like grabs it and he like holds it like this and he's like hooked up to this machine and it can let him like communicate with other or like whoever he sees like on a screen. Like he looks at that person on a screen, holds the device, and he's able to like be teleported to where that person is. And he used that on Jane, which is Daniel's girlfriend, to like get information out of her and to like get her to try to kill him, which ends up failing obviously because of plot and whatnot. So yeah, the whole movie is kind of like this heist thing where Daniel and Margaret are trying to get to this news station and they're trying to get to each other because, well, it's really about Margaret trying to get to Daniel because Daniel doesn't know that Margaret is trying to find him, but Margaret knows Daniel. She doesn't like know him by like face or anything. She just knows the name Daniel like that just because she has this ability where she can just like look at somebody and she knows who they are. Like she can just instantly look at someone and be like, your name is like Kyle or your name is like Luke. Like she just knows who someone is as soon as she looks at them. And she's able to like manipulate people's minds and stuff when she looks at them and they see like people who are, I think, dead. I think that is how it works. They're able to see like, or yeah, they see like their dead relatives or something like that through her because of like her abilities and whatnot. I'm not exactly sure exactly what her abilities are, but I think they are slightly different from Daniel because Daniel doesn't have that ability where he can look at someone and be like, you are this person, you are that person. No, he doesn't have those abilities, but he's able to basically, like I said, translate alien language. That is like his main ability, and she has the ability to like know who everyone is and whatnot. So yeah, these two, they have these abilities and they are trying to reveal the truth of aliens out into the world. And one thing that I thought was kind of lacking in this movie was the inclusion of Wyatt Russell's character. Now, if you don't know, Wyatt Russell is a part of this movie. He plays, obviously, John Walker in Thunderbolts, but I actually thought he was pretty funny, but they don't use him very often. Like, he's in the beginning of the movie, and then he starts to go on this journey with Margaret, but then she ends up abandoning him at this, like, gas station, and then he's never seen ever again. This is like in the middle of the movie. This is a very long movie. This movie is like 2.5 hours long. And he gets abandoned at this gas station like halfway into the movie, and then you don't see him ever again for like the rest of the movie until the very end of the movie. That is when you finally get to see him again. Is when she's like revealing the truth to aliens or revealing the truth about aliens, and then it cuts to his reaction, and then that's it. That's the last time you see him in the movie. So yeah, I do wish they included him more in the movie because he kind of just like disappears from the movie. Because like I said, he's in the opening of the movie, he's in the middle of the movie, and then he's just gone. It kind of sucks because it was pretty funny because there's this one scene in particular where they have to like get rid of their phones so that they're obviously not getting tracked. And she's like, oh, I have to run over my phone. So she puts the phone under or on the ground. She's like, run over my phone. He's like super confused of what's going on or of what's going on. So he goes to run over the phone and then it keeps missing over and over again. He misses like probably 3 times. And I thought it was pretty funny. And there was this like hospital scene where they're like in the hospital and she's like, are those guys FBI? And the lady's like, yeah, they're FBI. And then she looks at the guy and she's like, that ain't no FBI agent. So she leaves the hospital with Jack, that is his character's name. They leave the hospital and then they run into this room with like this old lady in there, and that scene was pretty funny because Margaret is like changing clothes obviously, and then Jack like looks at the old lady and he's like, how you doing? Like he was a pretty funny character, so I wish they would have included him more throughout the movie, but he just disappears halfway into the movie. But yeah, like I said, it was an okay movie. I didn't hate it, but I don't think it is the best movie because I do think I prefer Ready Player One over this movie because I have seen Ready Player One that came out back in like 2018, and I'm not sure if they're making a Ready Player Two movie or not. I'm pretty sure they are, but we haven't really heard any updates on that, so I don't know what's going on with that movie. But yeah, I do think I like Ready Player One more than this movie, just because for a movie that's about aliens, there's not really much aliens in this movie. Like, yeah, you have the occasional like alien here and there, and then like basically the aliens show themselves as animals. Like that is how they present themselves to people, obviously, to not like frighten them or anything like that. Like they're able to like shapeshift into animals because at the start of the movie, Margaret has her abilities basically like awakened through this red cardinal bird that is like very essential to the story because at the start of the movie, like Margaret and Jack, they're chilling at their like house or something. I think it's a house. It might have been an apartment. I'm not entirely sure, but they're chilling at their home, and then a bird shows up. It is this like red cardinal bird, and it looks at Margaret, and then her abilities are basically like awakened, and she can speak in like different languages, and like I said, she can like look at someone and know who they are. And she gets out of a speeding ticket because she looks at the cop that pulls her over and like talks about his wife and like his marriage problems, and it was a pretty funny scene. But yeah, the whole movie, like I said, is a heist. There's not really much like action in it, so don't expect like bunch of action all that. There is like one really cool train scene that happens in the movie though. There's like this scene where they're stopped at a train, and then there's this other bad guy who is like trying to like run them into the train. That was a pretty suspenseful moment and like kind of a cool action scene because they have to like get on top of the train and avoid being shot. But other than that, there's like not really much action. And like I said, there's not really much aliens in the movie either until like the very end of the movie when they finally reveal that aliens are real because now you get to see like all these videos and whatnot of like aliens like crashing down onto Earth. And then there's like aliens that are being like, held or like being captured and they're being like held hostage. Well, I don't know about being held hostage, not really that type of thing, but they're being like experimented on, and like alien ships are like crashing down onto Earth, and yeah, that's really like all you get for like UFOs and stuff is towards like the very end of the movie, because I remember them saying for like press and stuff that like nothing from the third act has been shown in the trailers or anything, and that's because nothing really happens in the third act other than them revealing that aliens are real. And like you don't get to actually physically see an alien in person until they've revealed that aliens are real because you only get to see the aliens through like the animals like I mentioned. And like I also mentioned when they ended up taking Daniel and Margaret when they were kids, that is how they like know who they are because they take Margaret and Daniel into like this facility thing and they shapeshift from like the animal that they are into the alien, and then they do the experiment because the only way Margaret is able to like fully control her powers is if she goes back to like her past and like relives through it because they end up rebuilding her childhood home, and she has to go through that home and like relive her memories so that she's able to like fully control her powers because she doesn't really know what's going on. She like sees the bird and then she's able to do this stuff, but she doesn't really know why she's able to do this stuff, and she doesn't really know why she knows Daniel until they meet each other, and then they're like, wait a minute, I know who you are because we met when we were kids, and that sort of thing. So yeah, they go through all that. They finally meet up. They go to their childhood, or they go to Margaret's childhood home, and then they relive their memories, and then Margaret's able to like fully control her powers. So then they go to the news station where they end up revealing that aliens are real, and then there's like this container or like this pod type thing where they have been housing an alien, as you would imagine. And so they end up meeting the alien, and the alien like talks to them. It makes like this like noise thing that's like the alien's language, and so Margaret is then like, all right, listen up, and then that's the end of the movie. So like, there's not a whole lot that happens in this movie because, like I said, it's kind of like a heist movie most of the time, and then it's kind of just like the bad guys trying to prevent them from releasing the alien knowledge to the world, but then they end up releasing the alien knowledge to the world, so the bad guys are like, all right, screw it, I guess reveal the information. So they do that, and then that's the end of the movie. So yeah, like I kind of wish more stuff would have happened in the movie because like not really a whole lot happens in the movie other than them revealing that aliens are real, and then the movie ends. So it's kind of like a weird movie in a way, but it was enjoyable. Like, I didn't hate the movie. I just kind of wish we would have maybe saw like more aliens throughout the movie because, like I said, they only show the aliens through the animals, and then we only get to see like one alien in the news station at the end of the movie, and then that's it. The movie's over. So I don't know if they're gonna make a sequel to this. I don't think so. Although maybe because it kind of ends in a strange way, so maybe they could release a sequel to this movie. I'm not entirely sure, but if I had to rate this movie, I would give it like a 6 out of 10. Like, it was enjoyable. I don't think it is the best movie, but I didn't hate it. It was an okay movie to say the least. But yeah, I think that's gonna wrap it up for this video. We are only 85 subscribers away from 800. I was gonna say 700 there. We are only 85 subscribers. Jesus Christ, I'm struggling to talk today. We are only 85 subscribers away from 800. We're at 715. The fact that I hit like 700 like only like a week ago, and now I'm already at 715 is pretty dang cool. So yeah, if you haven't subscribed yet, make sure you subscribe. I'm trying to get to 800 in 2026. So if we can hit 800 in 2026, that would be pretty dang cool. So if you haven't subscribed yet, make sure you subscribe. And if you've gotten around to seeing this movie, you can let me know what you thought of it down in the comments below. Like I said, I didn't hate it, but I kind of wish we would have just saw more aliens. And if they maybe explained some more stuff, because like I mentioned, there's this device thing that they have, and it has the ability to, like, if you touch it with your bare hands, it like basically like, you know, zaps you away from existence unless if you let go of it. But they don't really explain what the device is, and they never really give it a name. They just call it the device. So I wish they would have like explained it more and explained like other things, like why do Margaret and Daniel have these abilities, why they were chosen. They never really explained those things at all. They just have the abilities, and we see like the backstory of how they got those abilities, but like, you know, they don't really explain why those two in specific were chosen. They don't explain that, so I kind of wish they would have explained a bit more things and we would have seen a bit more aliens. But it was still a pretty decent movie to say the least. But I think that's going to wrap it up for this video, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace out.